Lee Strauss. We came the first time in January of 2003 because your dad got transferred here with Deutsche Bank. Well, not exactly the part of the Hong Kong Chinese local community, but I think I could if I tried harder. I haven't really tried very hard. But I think there's a big expat community here that makes it really easy to immigrate here and to find a community easily within the expat community. I think that didn't happen right away, but it definitely, like looking back on it now, 16 years, whatever it is later, I definitely feel like it's changed my identity. I feel like I belong in Hong Kong to some extent more than I belong in the United States, in terms of where I'm comfortable and where I've had most of my experiences, where I've raised my kids and my family. It's funny. I mean, I think I realize it more when I go home and interact with people in the United States. How much I've changed in the time that I've been here. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's a little hard going back to the States sometimes because I think people are like judge you and don't understand the experience that you've had, and can't relate as well to some of the experiences that we've had. One of the things I love about Hong Kong the most is how diverse it is, and meeting people from all over the world. And so even though you're like living in this other environment with a whole different culture and society, I also feel like I'm exposed to British people the way I wasn't exposed when we lived in the United States. Some of my best friends are from Austria and Denmark and Thailand, and that I think is fairly unique to Hong Kong in terms of how international the community is. Well, I mean, even though we've been here a long time, I still was in the U.S. longer, and I think like where you grow up is really important. So I think the fact that I spent like my formative years in the United States is a big part of what shapes that identity as an American. And then I think the fact that most of my family is still there. I mean, as much as I love Hong Kong and could see us staying here a long time, we won't do that just because all of our family is back in the U.S. Probably maybe more living in Hong Kong, quite honestly, because when you're in the States, I don't think people think that much about it because everybody around you is American. So I'd actually say probably coming here, that identity as an American feels stronger, because you have people who aren't American. So when you meet people, everybody here wants to know where you're from and hear where you're from. So I would say that there's more focus on it, my identity as an American, since we've been in Hong Kong. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I do feel like sometimes going home, it's hard to assimilate back in just because we've had a lot of experiences that other Americans haven't had. And so even having conversations around those things, I think sometimes can be a little strained because people think we're bragging, or they just can't relate. Sometimes they don't even know the places that we've been. They just can't really, understand the experiences we've been through. Hong Kong is a very international city, right? And that it prides itself on that reputation, and that like the business community thrives on that. So I think Americans in Hong Kong are generally treated very nicely, and maybe too nicely. I think that sometimes, especially as a white American in Hong Kong, a person that's a Gwailo with white skin, I feel like you get extra special treatment when you don't do anything special, and you don't necessarily deserve it. And I think that it can affect how you interact with other people.